what we have done till now, that is, we have automated the process of creating the infrastructure, right? If you need some infrastructure, instead of creating this infrastructure manually, what we have done, we have automated this process. Okay. So that is, instead of creating the infrastructure for hosting your application manually, okay, or to develop my application manually, we have automated this infrastructure creation using a concept known as infrastructure as code, or a concept or a tool known as Terraform, right? This is what we have done till now. So now we have successfully created the infrastructure. So let us assume that we have created some EC2 instances, some number of EC2 instances using your Terraform. Now, please tell me, once the infrastructure is created, are we going to say, okay, my responsibility is completed. Let us go back and sit and relax. Is that the case? No, right? See, once the EC2 machine or infrastructure automation is done, are we going to sit back and relax? Absolutely no. Why? See, once this EC2 machines or these servers or any resource which is created, okay, what is the next thing that you need to perform? That is the question here, right? See, once my EC2 machine is created using Terraform, done very good, successfully. Now we need to perform some activity known as configuration management or configuration activity onto these machines. Okay. So this is the second activity that we need to perform. Now, what is this configuration? That is the thing that we need to that what is configuration here? Configuration management or configuration activity. So it is nothing but, just remember in simple words, if a machine is given, if this is a machine, you need to make sure whether a particular package or in simple terms, whether a particular software, in Linux terms, we call it as package, right? Whether a particular package is installed or uninstalled, right? This is the first one. Whether a service is started or stopped, a particular user has a particular access, or whether a particular user is existed in this server, whether a particular user has a specific access, or a particular file is available, a particular folder is available, automatic backups, patches to the OS is available. All these activities combiningly, we call it as a configuration activity. Clear? What is configuration activity? It's nothing but making sure that some activities, whether the package is installed or uninstalled, whether the service is available, whether the service is started or stopped, particular user exists, a particular user exists, then he has a specific access, automatic backups, a folder is available, a file is available, patches to the operating system. All these things we call it as a configuration activity. Okay. So now these are your EC2 instances. Now what I need to do, sir? If these are my EC2 instances, what I need to do? I need to configure these machines. Let's assume all these are the developer machines. Developer is working on these machines. Okay. If developer is working onto these machines, what are the things he need? He might need to install Git client into this machine. He might need to install Java into this machine. He might need to install Python into this machine. You might need to install some Visual Studio IDE, integrated development environment. That is your Visual Studio Code or IntelliJ, something like that for development activity. You might need these kind of packages need to be installed in all of these machines. Okay. So now what we usually do, sir, usually we do this activity manually. That is how first log into first machine. First log into the first machine, then install the packages. Once this is done, log out from this machine, then log into the second machine, then repeat the activity. Again, manually log into the third machine, then repeat the activity. Again, log into the fourth machine, then repeat the activity. Okay. So now what is the problem here? The problem here is time management. Here there are only 4 EC2 instances. Now tell me, what if there are 100 EC2 instances? How will you configure these machines? Right? See, it is going to take huge time for configuring these machines. Okay. So what do you mean by configuration, sir? Now, any doubts? The word configuration. Anyone? Okay. So configuration is nothing but, just remember, you are going to do some activity inside this machine. Machine is already created. Once the machine is created, I wanted to install or uninstall, create, remove some activity inside this machine. That is, we call it as a configuration management. Okay. So that is the next thing. So now, instead of doing this configuration activity manually into different servers, now we need a solution, or we need a tool which can automatically connect to all of these machines at the same time, and it can perform this activity, perform the same configuration activity. Okay. Instead of we doing it manually, now I want a tool which can connect to these machines, and it can perform the same activity of configuration, whichever the software you want to install, whatever the operations that you wanted to do. Okay. So that is where a tool known as Ansible comes into picture. Okay. So this is why you're going to use a tool known as Ansible. The machines are already created using your Terraform. Okay. Now what you need to do? I wanted to configure these machines. Once the machine is created, I wanted to install some software into these multiple machines. Now what is the problem? If you do this activity manually, it is going to take huge time for you, right? So to avoid this, what we are doing, we are automating this process of configuration. So that is where a tool known as Ansible comes into picture. Okay. So what is Ansible now? Ansible is a configuration management tool. Okay. So what it will do, sir? Now tell me what it will do, anyone? Hello. Are you guys there?
After creating the infrastructure, it will deploy the configuration, whatever we have required. That one.
Yeah, sir. See, for day-to-day activities, whatever the, see, let's say, just to even simplify this, if this is your laptop, right? Now I wanted, this is where my company is. Now, if I wanted to work in this company, what are the things I need inside my laptop? Laptop is given. Okay. Now I need to install some tools into this machine. I might install Microsoft Teams or Zoom meeting, right? Now I need to install some Chrome browser, correct? Now I need to install some Git client we installed already. These are the softwares or packages which we need on a day-to-day basis. If you wanted to perform your day-to-day activities, then these are the things which we require, right? In same way, just automating this process of configuration. If there are multiple laptops, what we need to do, instead of doing it manually, just logging into each and every machine and doing it manually, what we'll do now, we'll have a tool which will configure this machine on behalf of us, which will connect to these machines and it will do the configuration activity. That's it. You just need to understand the meaning of the word configuration. Okay. So now, if you understood what is Ansible, Ansible is just a configuration management tool. See, sir, one more thing. Okay. No need to record today. I'll provide like for 3 days. I'll provide. Then for the next 3 days you can record. That's fine. Okay. So where I was, just to tell you how simple Ansible is. You learned about a concept known as provisioners in Terraform. Your provisioners is equal to your complete Ansible tool. That is it. Why we were using this provisioners? Once the machine is created, what we need to do, if you wanted to configure this machine, then what we are going to use, we are going to use different kinds of provisioners into these machines using connection block, provisioner block inside a resource block. If you remember, local exec provisioner, remote exec provisioner, file provisioner, null resource provisioner. If you remember, these are the provisioners we use to configure the machine once it is created. Okay, this is same thing, sir. We are going to repeat that inside your Ansible as a configuration management tool, separate tool. And always remember, if you are good at Terraform, you understood the different concept, whatever I explained, the concept will remain same. 90% of the concept is remains same in Ansible. But the way of writing the code, the way of writing these instructions, here also we write one file, right, in Terraform using your HCL language, right? Here also you will write a file, but using something called as YAML language. Very simple, straightforward. Okay. So see, 90% will remain same. Just you need to apply the concept. Same here. Concept will remain same. The way of writing this file will be changing. That's it. Okay. So Terraform and Ansible are almost equal, but for different purposes. There are separate tools. Fine. So now, now let us discuss about Terraform, not Terraform, Ansible architecture. How Ansible will work. Okay. So let's say same, just like your Terraform again. So let us assume this is one of the machine. In this machine, what we'll do first, we'll install Ansible into this machine. Okay. So this, wherever you are installing your Ansible, this machine, we call it as a Ansible controller. Okay. So first we'll install Ansible into this machine. Once it is installed, see, just like Terraform again, Here we used to install Terraform into this machine, but here now we were installing Ansible controller into this machine. That's it. Once the machine is installed with the Ansible, then what we used to do, sir, in Terraform, we used to prepare a file, correct? We used to prepare a file in HCL language in Terraform, but in Ansible, you're going to write a file known as YAML file, YAML, yet another markup language, full form. YAML or YML, yet another markup language. Okay, what does this file contains? This file contains two things. See, if just replicate the same Terraform thing. Okay, now first let me repeat your Terraform architecture. See, here is my machine. Inside this machine, I was installing Terraform. Once the Terraform is installed, what I used to do, I used to write a file in HCL language. In this file, what I used to mention, my desired state, whatever the infrastructure that I wanted to create, that information I was specifying here, right? And there are two things I used to specify. One is my desired state, whatever the infrastructure that I wanted to create. And the second one is to which provider I should connect. What is the provider details? Those details I used to provide here, right? Once the file is ready, what I used to do, I used to execute some commands, Terraform apply, Terraform plan, and once that is done, the Terraform itself will connect to the AWS and it will use to create the infrastructure. Once this is done, it will create a file known as Terraform state file. Done. This is my Terraform architecture, correct? So now same thing, repeat. See, this is where my Ansible controller is there, and I'm installing Ansible into this machine. Once the Ansible is installed, I'm going to create a file. I'm going to write a file in which language? In YAML language. YAML. Yet another markup language. Okay. So what I am going to specify in this file? See, I'm going to specify what are the missions my Ansible needs to connect and what is my desired state. What is my desired state? What is desired state here? But what packages you want to install? I wanted to install Apache web server into some 100 EC2 machines. I wanted to install HTTPD web server into some 200 machines. Okay, and mission details, those 100 mission details, IP address that I'm going to provide here, and at the same time, I'm going to provide my desired state. Okay, those details I'm going to define. Once this is done, see, let us assume these are the different missions we have. I want you to replicate the same thing while working. You need to relate this story, whatever I'm discussing now. Okay. So now, so my file is ready. I've mentioned everything. Then what your Ansible will do now, once this is done, we'll execute some Ansible commands again. Here, we'll execute some commands. Once the execution is done, then your Ansible will try to connect to each and every machine. It will try to connect to each and every machine using SSH if it is a Linux machine, or it will use WinRM, or if it is a Windows based server. Okay. So let me repeat. Once, first we'll take one machine, we'll install Ansible controller into that machine. Then we'll create a file known as YAML file. In that file, we are going to write two things. One is what are the machines it has to connect and what is our desired state. Once that is done, we are going to execute some Ansible commands here. Okay. Once the file is executed, it is going to connect to different machines. If it is a Linux based machine, then it will use SSH. If it is a Windows based machine, then it will use WinRM. Okay. So are you guys clear till this point? If you are clear, I'll go to the next level. Guys, any doubt here? Are you guys clear till this point? Okay. So if this is done, then I'll just extend the story. That's it. Same thing. Again, just a second, please. Again, there is a machine. Inside this machine, I'm going to create some Ansible or install Ansible, control it into this machine. Then I'm going to write a file, YAML file. Okay. Once that is done, I'm going to execute some Ansible commands. Then whatever the IP addresses that you provided, these are the machines that I wanted to connect and I wanted to configure, right? So once this Ansible command is executed, then what happens? Okay, this is the process you need to understand. Ansible controller is installed, your file is ready, then you're going to execute some Ansible command here. Once the command is executed, what happens next? That is the point here. Once this Ansible command is executed, then first thing what it will do, it will connect to this machines using SSH or WinRM. First, it will connect. Please note down this. First, it will connect to these machines. Once the Ansible is connected to these machines, what is the next thing? It will gather the facts related to this machine. Gather facts. What is this gathering the facts? It will gather or it will collect or it will read the existing machine's configuration. Whatever the things available in this machine, it will read. Okay. And whatever that means, whatever the things available in this machine, whether Git is available, yes. Whether Git is not available, no. Whatever the existing configuration which is already present into this machine, that it is going to read. That is what we call it as a gather the facts. Clear? Once this is done, what it will do, it will compare your gathered facts with your desired state. Desired state, what is that? Whatever the things you want in your file you are mentioning. And what are these gathered facts? What is the already existing information into that machine? It will just compare these two things. Okay. If there are no changes here also in gathered facts, Git is already installed. In your desired state, in this file, you wanted to install Git. If Git is already available, then it will not do any changes. If if the if there are any changes, now I wanted to install Git into this machine, it will install Git into this machine and it will change the node state or it will update the node state. Each and every machine we call it as a node here. Node 1, node 2, node 3, something like that. Okay, it will update the node state. What is updating? Installing your whatever the desired state you mentioned. Okay, so just to repeat once again, what happens? Just a flow I want from you. This is my Ansible machine. This is where I'm going to write my file. This is my desired state. Once the desired state is done, I'm going to execute some Ansible commands. So once the command is executed, it will connect to these machines using SSH or WinRM. Once it is connected, what is the first step it is going to do? It is going to do something called as gather facts. Whatever the reads the existing machine's configuration, right? Whatever the details available in this machine, all these details it will read. Once this activity is done, then what it will do? It will compare this existing information with our desired state. If there are no changes, then it will just execute it. If there are changes, it will going to install or uninstall some package into these machines. Then it will change the node state. It will update the node state saying it is installed. Okay, so this is the complete Ansible architecture, how it will work. Any doubts here, sir? Anything around this? Are you guys clear?
Sir,
Yes,
are we
please.
going to use Terraform stateful here?
No, nothing. Why we need to use Terraform statefile? It's not required. Where you saw this statefile?
No, sir. We have all EC2 information we need to provide now, sir.
No. That is what we'll see how to provide that information. See, just common sense, use common sense, sir, here. Not for you, for everybody. See, if this is my machine, now I wanted to log into this machine. Now I wanted to install something, right? First, if I wanted to install something into this machine, first thing what I need to do, I need to do the login into this machine. If it is a remote machine login, just like we are doing, right? This is my laptop. From this laptop, some machine is created inside my AWS cloud here. Now, what I'm doing, I'm trying to logging into this machine, remote machine. How I am doing? What are the things which are required? I'm writing SSH-I, my .pem key, then username at IP address, public IP address. Correct? So if you're logging into these machines, what are the things you need? These are the things. One is my password file, my PEM file. Another one is Ubuntu as a username you want. Second one is your public IP address. These are the things you required. So same thing we are going to provide inside your Ansible controller machine. That's it. So by making use of these details, it will connect to that machine. It will automatically do the SSH into those machines. You are not going to do it. It will do it. Your Ansible machine will log into those machine and execute whatever the file we are created, right? It will install that package into that machine. This is how it will work. We need to provide these IP addresses, this PEM file, this username, everything we need to provide. How to do it, we'll see. Okay. So now, see, first we discuss what is Ansible and why we need Ansible, what is configuration management, how to do the configuration management, right? All those things. The second part we discussed was how Terraform works, or what is the Terraform architecture we discussed. A clear discussion about Terraform architecture. Please be clear here how it will work. Okay. Now, why Terraform? Why we are using Terraform? Why we are using Terraform? Whether do we have any other tools similar to this? Whether similar tools available? Okay, this is the question we need to answer. Why? See, this is the some kind of a question which recently, like most of the people started asking, why you are using Terraform, why you are using Ansible when there are other similar tools are available? What is the reason of using Ansible? That we need to understand. I'll explain it in a simple way, just learn that. See, now what happens? I'll divide it into two parts here. This is where my Ansible mission. This is where my other missions that I wanted to connect. These are, let us take only two missions here. Okay. So now, what I'm doing a configuration management activity. I'll just provide a public IP username, whatever. So my Ansible mission will directly connect into this mission using SSH into these missions, and it will perform the configuration activity. That much simple it is. You just need to install Ansible controller into this mission. Nothing needs to be installed here, right? You just provide your public IP address, your username, your password file. Your Ansible controller will directly connect into this machine, and it will perform the activity. But here is the twist. If you compare other configuration management tools, just like your Ansible, we have other similar tools like Chef or Puppet. These are the other similar tools, most popular tools, not now, earlier. Now Ansible is the one. So these are the similar tools. How these tools were working, that we need to understand now. Okay. So see, same thing. If this is my mission, first I need to install Chef or Puppet into these machines. First I'm going to install. So then what I need to do, see, this is where my EC2 machines are present. Then what I need to do, sir, then I need, see, here is my Chef or Puppet is installed. Again, what I need to do, I need to install something called as client or agent into these machines. What are the machines that you connect, into those machines also you need to install this agent. This is the hectic process. Once it is installed, then how it will work? Here also you are going to like write some file or something like that. Okay. So then if it wants to perform some installation activity, how it will work? It works on the push based mechanism. What is this? Sorry, pull based. I'll take it back. It works on the principle of pull based mechanism. What is this pull based mechanism? See, your agent, whichever it is installed in this EC2 instances, it will connect to your Chef controller machine, and it will take the software or whatever. So it is a pulling from your controller machine. So please remember this. First, what is that? Here is my Chef or Puppet machine. Here are my different instances that I wanted to connect. Your Chef or Puppet is already installed. And what is the other thing that you need to install here? You need to install other thing known as client or agent into this machine. Now, how it will work? Instead of your Chef or Puppet machine here your Suffer Puppet machine is not connecting to these client machines. Your client will connect to these machines and it will execute whatever the commands it wants. That is, it works on the pull based mechanism. This is the first one. And whenever you create a file here in Chef or Puppet, you need to know a specific programming language like Python or Ruby. If you wanted to work into these tools, then you need to know a programming languages like Python or Ruby. And it is don't you see, it is a very complicated setup. It is a very complicated setup. Why? You need to install a Puppet or Chef into these machines. Again, you need to install client into these each and every machines, right? It will work on the push-based mechanism. All this. These are the problems associated with your Chef or Puppet tools. What are the problems? See, it is a agent-based. It is a agent-based tool. It works on the pull-based mechanism, right? What is the next one? It needs a specific domain language, that is a Python or a Ruby. It needs a specific domain language and it is a complicated setup. So these are the problems associated with the tools known as Chef and Puppet. But when you compare the same thing to your Ansible, if this is your Ansible machine and here is the machines that you wanted to connect, first we'll install Ansible into this machine. Once it is installed, you're going to provide some IP address. That's it. See, the first one, do you need to install agent into this machine? In Ansible, you are not going to install any agent onto this machine. That is the first one. Then how it is going to work? See, your Chef and Ansible works on the principle of pull-based mechanism. That is, your client, whichever it is present, it will connect to the controller machine. But here, that is not the case. Here, 1 second. Here, your Ansible controller will connect to these machines. Instead of these child machines connecting to the parent, your parent machine will connect to your child machines. That we call it as a push-based mechanism. Your Ansible works on the principle of push-based mechanism. Okay, so what is the difference? If I just write it down here, Ansible. Here, Chef and Puppets are agent-based tools. It is a agentless. This is the first one. Second one, it is a push-based mechanism. It works on the principle of push-based mechanism. Do you need to know any programming languages? Nothing you need to know. And it is very easy setup. Easy setup. Okay. So these are all the advantages when you compare Ansible with Chef and Puppet. So that is the reason now everybody started using your Ansible. Clear why you are going to use Ansible instead of your Chef and Puppet tools? Any doubts around this? Very simple, right? Sir, any doubts? Okay. Okay. Thank you. So now, just one point here, one note. This you please remember always. You will do the mistake. See, this is my Ansible controller machine. Here I am installing Ansible. Okay, and here are my node machines: node 1, node 2, and node 3. Okay, so now this is with the Windows operating system. This is with Linux operating system, and again this is with Windows operating system. Now your Ansible machine will connect to these machines. If it is a Windows based machine, then it will use WinRM protocol. If it is a Linux based machine, it will use SSH, Windows, again WinRM. It is going to connect. Everything is fine, sir. See, please remember, your Ansible machine is capable of connecting to any kinds of operating system using its protocols, SSH or WinRM. But whenever you install Ansible into this machine, the operating system must be Linux. Wherever you are going to install your Ansible controller machine, Ansible controller, wherever you're going to install, that machine's operating system must be Linux. This is the point you need to remember. It is capable of connecting to any kinds of machines, whether it's Linux or Windows, Red Hat, any kinds of machines. But the Ansible controller must be of Linux operating system. That is the must point here you need to remember. A small point. Okay. So now let us go back and start installation of our Ansible. It's very simple, nothing much here. Okay. So just a second, I'm stopping this share. 1 second, please. Okay. Okay. Very elastic IP here. Three. Just give me a second, please. Okay, let me see that later. So now I'll just create another machine, another EC2 machine here. I'll call it as Ansible server. Okay, just select any operating system. In my case, Ubuntu operating system. Just come down. What is the key pair I need to use? I need to use laptop. Just come down and launch instance. Okay, just wait. See, just started. Just log into this machine. Git bash. sh-i laptop.pem into at this IP address. Done. Yes. See, we have created this machine with the operating system Linux, right? Once that is done, I just need to Ansible installation on Ubuntu. Okay, just search for that. Just come back, Ansible documentation. First link. If you just come down, here you have installing Ansible on Ubuntu from the official documentation from Ansible itself. Okay, install Ansible on Ubuntu. Just click on that, and here are the commands. Just copy paste the command. Nothing you are going to do so here. Just copy pasting the commands. That's it. First, which has sudo su. Okay, just paste sudo apt update. Okay, done. What is the next one? Sudo apt install software properties common. So what you are doing, I'll just explain once. Let us install this. This is a slightly different process, but what you are doing, you're just doing copy pasting these commands. Farak nahi padta. But I'll just explain you what you are doing here. Well, even though if you copy pasted these commands, what is the exact process that you are doing? Okay. Just observe this adding repository. Just see that. Done. Just install the sudo apt install Ansible. Internet is very slow. Just a second. See, one more point here. Meanwhile, Ansible is built using a programming language known as Python. Okay, by making use of Python programming language, they have created your Ansible. Earlier, what we used to do is first you need to install Python into your machine. Then we used to install Ansible. This is the earlier procedure. But now if you see here, by default, it is going to install Python into your machine. Then it is going to install Ansible into your machine. It will do by itself. You no need to worry about that. So this is about your controller machine. Now the controller machine, Ansible controller machine is having Ansible. So as you already know, Ansible is built using a programming language known as Python. So now it has a dependency. You need to install Python into this machine. and then you are going to install Ansible. Since it is available, both the things are available into the same package, it is already automatically installed. When it comes to your client machines, these are my client machines. Here, you just need to install Python into these machines. Only prerequisite while working with Ansible, you need to install Python programming language in this machines. That is the only thing that we'll see tomorrow. Just executing a command and installing. Okay. See, now let me explain this. Now Ansible is installed. Just execute Ansible -version. See, Ansible core 2.17.6 is installed. Okay. So if you are getting this output, that means successfully you installed your Ansible into your machine. Fine. What we have done here, these commands, you just executed, but what is happening here? See, what is the package manager for Ubuntu machine or Linux machine? Let's say it is apt, right? apt is the package manager. Sudo apt install Apache 2. Sudo apt install your HTTPD. So this is the package manager here. I explained in your Linux classes. So just like a Play Store, you have a Play Store, right? Just like that, apt is also having some versions of your applications. Let's say it is having Apache 2, it is having Java version, it is having Python, it is having some Terraform version here, some applications here. Now, what I am doing, your Ansible is also present in this package management tool. But what I am doing, from internet, I'm taking this package. This is my package, Ansible package. From internet, I'm taking this package. First, what I'll do, I'll add this package into my package manager using this command. If you see this, where went I showed you, right? Where is this? See here, adding a repository from this one. It is updating this whatever the Ansible latest version into your apt package manager. Okay, so what's this? First, it will add. Then we are going to install that package. We'll be adding a latest package into your package manager. Then we are going to install that package into our machine. If you understood this, well and good. If you are not understood, leave this. This is just for your information. Adding, then just execute these commands into your machine. Then it is going to install a Ansible into that machine. If you have a different flavors of operating system, then just refer this documentation. Ubuntu, Arch Linux, Windows, anything. Okay. So, any doubts from today's class? This is where you get a Ansible documentation. Everything is there. But let us see, whatever I teach here, that is more than enough. It's very easy. Even after that, if you wanted to explore, you go and explore by yourself. This week, I'll complete Ansible. This week, we'll take a class on Saturday as well, and we'll complete this Ansible 2. Okay. So, yeah, that's it from my end. So, if there are no questions, we can wind up the session. Okay. So, thank you. See you tomorrow. Complete Terraform, complete AWS. If you are lagging anything. So one more point here before I close. See, till now what we have done? We have completed one responsibility known as continuous development. Continuous development. What is this continuous development? Using a tool known as GitHub and Git or Git in specific, we have completed this responsibility. The second responsibility was infrastructure as a code. We have created an infrastructure using a concept known as infrastructure as a code using a Terraform. See, if you observe here, whether Git is the only thing we have in continuous development, do we have any other tools? GitHub, we have Bitbucket, we have GitLab, we have, there are some other things. But we learned one thing. If you're learning one thing, all other we are same. Almost 95% are same. Here we learned Terraform. What are the competitors here? We have a cloud formation. What is this cloud formation? It is also infrastructure as a code, but this cloud formation will work only inside AWS. This is from the AWS. You can create infrastructure only inside AWS. If you wanted to create an infrastructure in Azure cloud, this is my Azure cloud using cloud formation, whether it is plausible, it's not possible. But using Terraform, you can create infrastructure in any of the cloud service providers. Just like Terraform, we also have a tool known as, just a second, please. We also have a tool known as Pulumi, Pulimi, Pulumi. This is also similar to Terraform. No need to learn all this. If you know one thing, learning other things, whenever if you go into organization, if they want you to learn this, you know the Terraform, just apply the same concept here, you will learn this. Okay, now we completed another responsibility known as infrastructure as a code. The third responsibility we started here is configuration as a code using a tool known as Ansible. This is the third responsibility that we are going to discuss. Then we have some other responsibilities: continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous monitoring, all those things that we'll see in the down the lane. Okay, so this is the responsibility that we are going to taking care from now. Fine. So yeah, so that is the point here. So that's it. So tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow we'll have a class, and yeah, thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.